Naomi Mee here from Breakthrough Marriage Mentoring. I have a message for both men and women today. And it's the damage that men don't realise that they are doing to their wives. Okay, so this is for relationships where the man has had an affair, he's had a porn addiction, which his wife is not happy about, or he has just been very unloving for a long time. And now they are deciding to work on their relationship, or the man would just simply like to move on in the relationship, although they would both like to move on in their relationship. Now this can be handled in either a connecting way, which builds the relationship, or it can be handled in a very disconnecting way, which causes a lot of damage and a lot of heartache for the wife. Okay, so some of the issues which women face in these situations, and this comes from our personal experience and it comes from a lot of couples that we have mentored. These are some of the attitudes that men have that causes a lot of issues in their relationship. So these include men expecting their wives to just get over it, to just move on, telling their wife that the porn addiction has nothing to do with the wife. So why are you worried? This has nothing to do with you, this is me. When men use their wives as an accountability partner for their porn addiction, then they think that this is a really good thing. The damage that happens when these attitudes are in the relationship is the woman begins to take this on. She begins to say to herself, this is me, maybe this is me. And this is just so not the case. There are so many women that my wife counsels, and that from the attitudes from the men that I mentor as well, you can just see the broken hearts of these women. And they've taken on these attitudes that I'm at fault here, that somehow this is to do with me. And that's not the case. Men, you have to step up and own this part of your relationship. So we'll start with the wife being the accountability partner. This might sound like a very open thing to do in your relationship. However, this is not your wife's job, okay? An accountability partner should be a male, and it should be somebody else separate from your relationship, obviously. Because your wife is your wife. She's not your mother. She is not somebody who you have to keep coming and checking up on my bad behaviour, okay? That is a mother-son dynamic. It's extremely unhealthy. Okay, in a relationship, a good healthy dynamic is that a man and a wife can both just come together in their relationship and act as a man and a wife. And if you're having to keep checking in with your wife as to these problems that you're having, well, that's not a healthy husband-wife dynamic. Okay, and it forces your wife to take on that mothering role in those situations, which cannot lead to any good things in your relationship. So the attitude of just get over it. Some men, after they've had an affair or they've got porn addiction, they have this attitude of just get over it. You know, why can't we just move on here? And they may not be aggressive about it. They may be passive aggressive about it. This is the whole nice guy syndrome in action. And your wife can't just get over it, okay? You guys have to deal with this. You guys have to work through your issues. Man, you have to work through, if you had an affair, you have to go to the counselling, do the therapy, you have to expose the reasons why, and you have to work on trust in a way that you can demonstrate to your wife that you have changed, that something is different. You can't just stay the same, have your same attitudes, and expect your wife to then have to come and trust you again. Okay, something has to change. And your wife will sense your attitude is different. Your wife will sense that your being is different. Okay, when you've done the work, when you've worked on the issues, whatever it was that caused you to look elsewhere, your wife will know that, okay? You will be different. You will come into your wife, into her space with a different presence. She will sense a different energy about you when you've done the work. And she will sense that changing, so you don't have to suddenly be this changed man in order for her to start healing from her side of things. Well, specifically here, healing from the damage that you are actively causing her by expecting her to move on. Okay, she can only move on and grow in a space where she feels emotionally safe. So if your wife doesn't feel emotionally safe in your relationship, then she can't open up and she can't trust. Okay, so while on one hand, it is your wife's responsibility for her own emotions and her own healing, absolutely. But in so many cases, the wife is just not in that position to be able to go and do that because of what's happened. So a lot of the time it is on us men, okay? It is our ownership to start that cycle of healing and going by being the man who you need to be. You need to go and get the help. Go and see counselling therapists, get a mentor, get a coach. Work through what you need to provide enough level of security and emotional trust space that your wife can then start looking at her own healing that she needs to do and things that she needs to do perhaps for her own heart. Because then you can both start coming together and rebuilding your relationship. You can't start working on your relationship together if you're still, as a man, struggling with all these things and the wife is still just trying to cope with what's happened. You can't suddenly begin like date nights and sparks happening. You have to work on your things. You have to work on your own heart, on what's going on. And then you can start, after that has become very solid, then you can start your relational building again. Another huge issue we see in the couples that we counsel is when men typically project their own sexual brokenness and emptiness onto their wife, okay? And they may do this consciously. It may be a conscious attitude they have, or it might just be an unconscious attitude that they have. That somehow their wife is responsible for filling their needs, okay? And that is not true. Okay, your wife is not responsible for filling your needs, okay? You are responsible for your own self. The wife is responsible for her own self. You as a man are responsible for yourself. Okay? Your sexual needs that you feel like you have are more likely areas that you haven't dealt with as a child, and so you're feeling this need in the sexual area, when actually there's so many other things at play that when you get them sorted out and healed and worked through, you will then be able to bring a healthy sexual energy into your relationship. And that's what relationships are all about. We're meant to have our own healthy energies about us and bring them together and share and enjoy each other's energies. Enjoy each other in the relationship. Okay, we're not there to fill each other. Okay, yes, there is an element where connection between two people must be there for the relationship itself to be there. But as far as our basic well-being and our needs, okay, that is for us to fulfill, in the sense that is us to be there as a solid, healthy person, okay? And so when we project that onto our wife, they can then begin to take that on and think, oh, okay, there's something wrong with me. But they can't feel that. Your wife cannot fill that hole in you, okay? So then we cannot use that excuse that, oh, my wife is not giving me my needs, well, I have to go elsewhere. That is absolute rubbish. Okay, your wife can never fill that hole in you, ever. Even if you seem to have a good sexual relationship, if you are still getting that need filled with your wife, that is never going to be all and amazing as it could be. That's my message for today. I hope some of you found that helpful. Check out our Breakthrough Marriage Mentoring website, breakthroughmarriagementoring.com, and please contact us, give us a personal message if you would like some further help or to chat about this in your own life, in your own relationship.